Welcome to Downtown Sports. My name is Downtown Stephen Brown, and in today's video, guys, I want to go over the Maple Leafs' goaltending duo, or their tandem, and I want to look at a bunch of different contextual stats and information, and I just want to see where we're at, especially after Saturday night on Hockey Night in Canada, when it was mentioned that there's been interest from other teams in Peter Mrazek. And I also understand what I said Saturday night after the game against the Detroit Red Wings in regards to what Jeff Marek said Saturday night during the 32 Thoughts segment on Hockey Night in Canada, just saying that all goaltending decisions for the Toronto Maple Leafs will be made this summer, and that teams have called and asked about Peter Mrazek because the Maple Leafs also have Jack Campbell, who's played very well this year, in a bit of a rut right now, but we'll talk about that in a minute, and that there is a marketplace for Peter Mrazek if the Maple Leafs would like to move on from him. And I had said that if someone is willing to take Peter Mrazek and his contract in full and not charge you anything for it, that you should 100% be exploring that if you are Kyle Dubas. But I had also said in the same video right afterwards that I'm not interested in trading Peter Mrazek at all, no matter what, if the Maple Leafs aren't going to go out and get another goalie to replace him, because I'm not interested in having a goaltending trio of Jack Campbell, Michael Hutcherson, and Joseph Woll. No matter how good Joseph Woll has been, like we'll see in a minute in the couple of games that he's played, I'm just not interested in that. And the reason why I felt that way is because, one, I filmed the video immediately after the game concluded against the Red Wings, and I gotta stop doing that, right? I need to be able to sleep on things to be able to make a calculated decision. I also need all the numbers in front of me because while they don't dictate everything that I'm going to say, they are a very helpful guide. The Maple Leafs find themselves fourth in the NHL in terms of points percentage and have played 42 games heading into this year's All-Star break, which means that the team has 40 games remaining in their regular season at, I guess, about the halfway point. Which means that if this goaltending duo is to be a tandem, which is what it was supposed to be at the beginning of the year anyway, then that means that one guy's more than likely going to be playing 20 to 25 games, and the other guy's going to be playing between 15 and 20. And no matter which one of those guys is Peter Mrazek, he's going to have an opportunity, if he stays healthy, to play a decent amount of games down the stretch in a meaningful role and prove that he is worth the deal that the Maple Leafs signed him to. And I also felt that way because heading into the new year, Jack Campbell had played in 49 out of the team's last 62 games, dating back to March the 20th of last season, including the playoffs as well. And if you're looking at just the numbers from this year, he played in 23 out of the team's first 30 games this season, which either sample puts him on pace for 60 plus games in an 82 game season. And some of you may be thinking to yourself, well, Steven, Peter Mrazek wasn't even here the year before that, and he's just been hurt this season. How is that his fault that Jack Campbell's had to play all those games? And I'm not saying that it's Peter Mrazek's fault. I'm saying that that's on the team. The team is the one who placed the bet in signing Mrazek. The team is the one who signed him knowing that he had a lot of injuries the season before that and wasn't able to play a lot. You know, and sometimes guys are just a casualty to business. The business being this offseason, where, yeah, the cap is projected to go up by $1 million, and yeah, Kessler's retained salary is coming off the books, but $7.2 million is not enough money to re-sign Jack Campbell and the RFAs the Leafs have as well. Guys like Anze Kasha and Pierre Engvall and Rasmus Sandin and Timothy Liljegren. It's just not enough. We did a video at the beginning of the year, and I'll leave it linked above the screen and at the end of this one if you wanted to check it out, but we did a video talking about what Jack Campbell's next contract could potentially look like, and we walked away from that video with the conclusion that Jack's next deal should be between $4 and $5 million, and we came up with that number by looking at every goalie contract that has been signed over the last 2 seasons and comparing those goalies' numbers to Jack's numbers. Right? It's just also, there's just no way that Jack is going to sign for the same or less than what Mrazek did, especially with the season that Jack's having so far. Even if you wanted to move out guys like Richie and Dermott to open up some more cap space, $7.2 million is just not enough money to spread out among the 6 more roster spots that we need to fill. And realistically, it's 7 because you're going to be carrying a bench player. And even after that, you don't want to be so tight to the cap that you can't make any moves in season. And there are obviously other things that you could do to this roster to be in a better position with the salary cap other than trading Peter Mrazek. But at the same time, if he's not able to stay healthy, and when he is healthy, he's not very good, who else would be at the top of your list? But this video is not about the Maple Leafs salary cap situation this offseason. If you wanted to take a look at that or watch a video about it, I did one a couple of days ago in relation to what they could do at this year's trade deadline, how, and then why. And I'll leave that linked above the screen and at the end of this one if you wanted to check that out. But the video today is about the goaltending duo, or the tandem, which by the numbers is what it looks like the Maple Leafs have. There's a lot of numbers to go through that's on the screen right now. There are games played, save percentage, high danger shots against per 60, high danger save percentage, medium danger shots against per 60, medium danger save percentage, and then goals saved above expected per 60 minutes, because that is a counting stat. So the more games that you play, or the higher quantity of quality shots that you face, the more opportunities that you're going to have to be able to contribute to that. So that's why we're pairing the goal save above expected with all these other contextual stats, as well as a median, in order to get a better sense of how well or how bad Jack Campbell and Peter Mrazek have been at different points of this season. If we're looking at the top chart there, which is before New Year's, like we said, Jack Campbell played in 23 out of 30 games for the Maple Leafs, and his numbers versus the median tells the story of a goalie who's gonna be top 3 or top 5 in Vezina voting. And the one thing that I would like to point out is that while Jack Campbell is facing a higher volume of medium danger shots against per 60 than what the median goalie was, is that in terms of the high danger shots against per 60, it's a lot lower. And that's a testament to the Maple Leafs defense. In terms of Peter Mrazek, yeah, it's a very small sample, but in that small sample, a lot of people wanted to say that the team in front of him didn't play very well. And if we're looking at the volume of medium danger shots against per 60 that he faced and the volume of high danger shots against per 60 that he faced, maybe the medium danger isn't too different to what Jack Campbell faced, but the high danger definitely is, and both are above the median. And while that is true that the defense in front of him wasn't necessarily helping him out, he also wasn't helping himself out, because if we're looking at the high danger save percentage, well, that is basically league average. In terms of the medium danger save percentage, it is much lower than our median here in this sample, which means that he was allowing some softer goals that he probably should have had. But Peter Mrazek, since the new year, pretty damn respectable, being above the median by a decent amount in basically every single category. I don't really know how to say this without it looking like I'm trying to take away from what Peter Mrazek has accomplished so far. I'm not picking on him and I'm not putting him down. It's just that with every 4-game sample size that you look at, there needs to be an asterisk next to it because it's a 4-game sample size, right? You shouldn't be making any conclusions from it. But everybody needs to start somewhere, right? There's steps in the right direction. He's headed in the right directions. It's not a bad thing that he's played well in games that he should. But I don't think that I would be being fair if I didn't point out that those 4 games were against the Coyotes, the Islanders, the Red Wings, and the Devils. Not necessarily your top-tier powerhouse offensive teams. And also, 2 out of the 4 are very, very good performances, but the other 2, not the greatest. But again, everyone's got to start somewhere, and he can only play in the games that are in front of the Leafs and that Keefe chooses to start him in. And if we're looking at Jack Campbell's numbers since the start of 2022, it's been sort of a rough go for him. And like I said, I'm not going to draw any conclusions from just 9 games, but at the same time, if we're looking at his numbers compared to the median, he's well below in every single category there, and it's not like you can even blame the Maple Leafs defense either. Yeah, maybe on specific plays, but if you're looking at the whole picture, there's been several goalies since the start of the new year who have faced a higher volume of both high danger and medium danger opportunities. To give the team some credit here, because 2022 has been a bit of a roller coaster, yeah, they did blow multiple multi-goal leads. I believe it was 5 in the span of like 7 games, but they are 9-2-1 since the beginning of 2022. So I think we can relax a little bit. In regards to Jack's numbers, yeah, they're not the greatest, but you throw in some games against Colorado, Vegas, St. Louis, the Rangers, you mix in some games against the Devils, the Senators, a Connor McDavid-less Edmonton team. It sort of balances itself out. Jack may have struggled in the 9 games that he's played since the start of 2022, but In that sample that I was talking about where he played in 49 of the team's previous 62 games going back from March of last year to the end of December of this year, he had a 929 save percentage in those 62 games. So, do I think that Jack will bounce back? Yes, I do. If we're taking a look at Peter Mrazek's numbers in the 2 seasons prior to this one, he was pretty damn good, and that's why the Maple Leafs signed him in the first place. But if we're comparing the two, Jack Campbell and Peter Mrazek right now, if Jack Campbell continues to slump, if his second half of the season is clearly not as good as his first half, he's a UFA at the end of this year, and that's going to affect the amount of money, obviously, that he's going to get paid. Peter Mrazek, if he continues to slump, or if he continues to be injury prone, which he was even in this sample, I don't know if there will be a taker come this summer. I'm just trying to keep as many options open as possible, and I'm trying to consider many variables on top of it. I'm not just looking at it from a perspective of, oh, it's just a couple of games. But it's not like the Maple Leafs have to make a decision on this right now, right? It's not like they have to re-sign Jack Campbell tomorrow or trade Peter Mrazek today. The trade deadline is not until March the 21st, and they don't have to re-sign Jack Campbell until the start of free agency. And there's still a lot of hockey to be played between either of those two dates, free agency and the trade deadline. So make sure to let me know what your thoughts and opinions are down in the comment section below, especially after we've had a chance to review all the contextual information and all of the stats. What do you guys think? And, like I said earlier in the video, maybe I shouldn't have jumped the gun and we should have done a style video like this in response to that rumor instead of just emotionally responding to it after the game on Saturday night. But at the same time, I'm a fan of this team too, and sometimes that gets the best of me as well. And I'm not afraid to admit that, it is what it is. But that's gonna be it for this video, guys. So make sure to like the video if you did like it and subscribe for more, because more is always on the way. And guys, expect another video, maybe either, what's today? Wednesday, so Friday, looking at a couple of defensemen who the Toronto Maple Leafs apparently have interest in, and just diving deep into them and looking at all the contextual stats and information as well. And then maybe look for maybe a live stream on Sunday. Yeah, talking about how the Maple Leafs have performed so far, and what I've liked, what I haven't liked so far in the first half of the year, and what we would like to see from them moving forward, of course. Let me know if you guys would be interested in a stream on Sunday or just a video. Because I do like talking to you guys, and interacting with you guys is fun. I do try to read as much of the comments as I possibly can. I do try to respond to them as many as I possibly can. But there's a lot of them, especially on some videos. There's like 500 of them sometimes, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm like, what happened? But I'll see ya on Friday, and maybe live for a stream on Sunday. We'll see. Take care.